Your phone lights up. Happy birthday. Then another and another. By noon, you have 47 notifications and you feel nothing. Not ungrateful, not sad, just empty. Like everyone's celebrating a holiday you forgot existed. You scroll past the messages, you mute the group chat, you go back to whatever you were doing. And somewhere in your head, a quiet voice asks, why don't I care about my own birthday? You've asked yourself this for years, and for years you assumed something was wrong with you. But what if the answer is the opposite of what you expected? What if the way you experience birthdays reveals something about your psychology that most people will never understand? Stay with me. Let's start with a type of person nobody talks about. Psychologists call them observers. And if you're watching this, there's a good chance you are one. You've been this way since childhood, haven't you? At birthday parties, you weren't the kid blowing out candles. You were the kid in the corner, watching, noticing who was faking their smile, noticing who felt left out, noticing the whole performance. You see, most people experience parties. You absorb them, every awkward silence, every forced laugh, every subtle tension nobody else seems to catch. Dr. Elaine Aron spent decades studying people like you. She calls it being a highly sensitive person. Not sensitive like easily offended. Sensitive like a radio that picks up frequencies others can't hear. And birthdays are loud. Everyone gathers, everyone sings, everyone stares at you waiting for you to perform gratitude on command. For most people, that's fun. For you, that's exhausting. So when you say, I just want a quiet birthday, that's not being difficult. That's your nervous system telling you exactly what it needs. And ignoring that would be the real problem. But there's another type entirely. These are the people who learned early, maybe too early, that they were the only ones they could count on. Maybe you were the kid who made your own breakfast while your parents slept. Maybe you learned to comfort yourself because no one else would. Maybe you figured out at age 7 what some people don't learn until 40, that waiting for others to make you feel special is a losing game. And that's not tragic. That's adaptation. Psychologist Kristen Neff calls this self-compassion independence. It's when your sense of worth doesn't depend on external check-ins. Think about what a birthday really is. It's society saying, hey, you matter. But if you already know you matter, that annual reminder feels almost redundant, like someone tapping you on the shoulder to remind you to breathe. Thanks, but I've been doing that on my own for a while. A 2021 study in the Journal of Research in Personality confirmed this. People with secure attachment styles showed less emotional dependency on milestone celebrations. They didn't need the cake, they didn't need the song, they already had what the party was supposed to give them, and they built it themselves. But I'd be lying if I said everyone arrives here peacefully. Some people stopped celebrating because their birthday became linked to something painful. Let me paint a picture. You're 10 years old. You've been counting down for weeks. You told everyone at school. You imagined the balloons, the friends, the moment, and then the day comes, and it's quiet. The people you hoped would show up didn't. Someone forgot. Or worse, someone remembered, but still didn't come. And you didn't cry. Not where anyone could see. You just adjusted. The next year, you expected a little less. The year after that, even less. Until eventually expecting nothing felt safer than hoping for something. Psychologists call this learned disappointment avoidance. It's not that you stopped wanting, it's that your brain decided wanting hurts more than not having. So now when you say, it's just another day, listen to that sentence carefully. It wasn't born from apathy, it was built from scar tissue. And the fact that you can say it calmly, that's not coldness, that's armor. Here's what bothers me about how we talk about birthdays. We've created this story that wanting attention is healthy and not wanting it suspicious. But let's actually think about what we're celebrating. The fact that you survived another year, you do that every single day. The fact that you were born, you had zero control over that. The fact that people remember you exist, that says more about their calendar app than your worth. When you strip it down, birthday celebrations are really about other people feeling good about acknowledging you. It's a social ritual disguised as a personal one. Philosopher Alain de Botton calls this the performance of happiness. Modern culture pressures us to display joy on command. Smile for the photo, act surprised, seem grateful, post it online. Birthdays are peak performance culture. But what if your version of self-love doesn't require an audience? What if your relationship with yourself is so solid that it doesn't need annual public confirmation? That's not cold. That's not broken. That's a kind of emotional maturity most people spend decades trying to reach. And you just have it. But here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Not everyone who skips their birthday is doing it from strength. Psychologist Jennifer Crocker studied something called contingencies of self-worth, and she found that some people disconnect from celebrations not because they're free, but because they're terrified. Terrified that if they let themselves want it and it doesn't happen, it'll confirm something they've secretly suspected about themselves all along. So they opt out, not from confidence, from protection. And that distinction matters because there's a difference between someone who doesn't need the party and someone who wants it desperately but convinced themselves they don't. So let me ask you something real, and I need you to answer honestly, just to yourself. When you skip your birthday, is it peace or is it armor? Only you know. And the fact that you're even asking yourself that question right now, that's not weakness, that's growth. So here's what I want you to walk away with. However you got to it's just another day, you're valid. Whether you're an observer who gets drained by the spotlight, whether you built your own foundation because no one else would, whether you're still healing from a birthday that broke something, or whether you're still figuring out which one you are, you don't owe anyone a performance. You don't need to blow out candles to prove you're alive. You don't need 50 people singing off key to know you matter. You mattered yesterday. You'll matter tomorrow. The calendar changes nothing, and if no one's ever told you this, you're allowed. You're allowed to spend your birthday alone and call it peace. You're allowed to feel nothing and not apologize. You're allowed to be exactly who you are, quietly, fully, without explanation. If this video found you today, it wasn't an accident. I'm curious, which type are you, the observer, the self-built, the one still healing? Tell me in the comments. And if you know someone who needs permission to skip their own birthday, send this to them. Sometimes the best gift is being told you're not broken. Subscribe if you want more like this. And remember, nothing was ever wrong with you. You were just different, and different was always okay.